Most outrageous thing I ever did in my last lifetime. This is a true story. I got an audience with the Pope. I was very concerned about the upcoming French Revolution. I was concerned with the direction things were going, and the Pope was right in the middle of it. Pope Pius VI, right in the middle. The year was 1783. So I asked for an audience with the Pope. He was torn between supporting the Jesuits and not supporting them. He was more anti-revolution than anything. He was against the common people having their sovereignty. But he was in kind of a bad alignment with the French government at the time. He didn't know it, but they were going to come in and take him down, so to speak. I knew it took everything I could just to get an audience with him. He was a rather difficult, ornery man. But I also knew that I had to be outrageous, because if I just pleaded the case for politics, for country, for church or whatever, it would go on deaf ears, because everybody pleads with the popes and the kings and everybody else. So I knew I had to do something to get his attention. So I was brought into the grand hall where our meeting would take place. I was brought in by his guards, and I knew it would be a while just sitting and waiting before the Pope came in, because that's what popes and bad CEOs do. They keep you waiting for a long time so they get the upper hand. I knew it would be at least an hour and a half wait. So I took a little nap because I could, and I did a little breathing because I knew I had to, and then I took off all my clothes. True story, absolute true story. Took off all my clothes and sat there by myself next to the fire because it was a bit chilly. Sat there totally naked. Suddenly, the big door from the pontiff place opened, and in walked the Pope. It was a moment of possible death. It was a moment of perhaps being thrown in the dungeon. But an interesting thing happened, something so interesting, they wrote books about it, stories about it later. The Pope didn't blink. The Pope didn't say a word. The Pope didn't stare down at my Adamus or anything else. He kept such a straight face, and all of his assistants, his staff, the Pope back then was always had about 20 people around him. None of them blinked. Of course, I was laughing to myself out loud. I was laughing, and I knew, if nothing else, the Pope, in this kind of crazy state, had to listen. Who is this strange man standing there by now, standing there with no clothes on? It was to become the core material for the story, The Emperor's Clothing. And this is a true story. This is a very true story.